Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. My name is Mahmoud Alunjai. I just thought I'd make this video very quick. There's been a lot of talk about the July 22nd movement celebration that the APRC wants to have, which have been denied a permit according to sources. Don't know how true it is. But again, if it's written on the Facebook page of the president, then we take it for its word, and we also heard from the Inspector General of Police, who they said has a master's in human rights or whatever. But again, folks, let's go back a little bit. So in 1994, there was an illegal overthrow of government that happened on July 22nd. But with all the illegality that they are talking about, in 1996, the Gambian people had a referendum. They decided to vote on election, saying that these were the people we want to rule over us. And it was democratically elected. There was a democratically elected government in 1996. And then following that, 1997, the Constitution came, which protects the rights of individuals to express, to peacefully protest, to peacefully assemble, to exercise their freedom of rights. And also, the APRC chose July 22nd to be a celebration for whatever achievements they've done. So for 22 years, we have been having these celebrations every year, right? I, for one, never celebrated it. But again, this is not about me or my emotions or my feelings. This is about protecting the rights of citizens and where government needs to draw the line of where they can intervene or not. Take note, folks. Not too long ago, right, many were being accused of witchcraft because they were out there celebrating, dancing in drums, and whoever danced in drums, you know, would be taken out and arrested, accused of witchcraft. So, folks, this is a matter of rights. Every citizen has the right to protect, the government has the right to protect the citizens' rights. The rights are also guaranteed in the Constitution. Just not too long ago, Fast Nyagachoy, UDP were denied a permit for movement, right? They were saying with or without a permit, they are going because it was their constitutional right. With or without. Many people speaking today out of hypocrisy were the very ones saying that they don't need a permit. To hell with it, right? But guess what? Today you can sit down and deny. I, for one, defended the rights of UDP while I was talking about reconciliation, defended their rights to a permit and freedom of movement. So why does this government feel the need or feel threatened by APRC celebrating whatever achievements they have achieved, trying to cut short their achievements or trying to block them from celebrating whatever achievements that occurred during these 22 years? Where do we need to draw the line? That this is where you need to stop. You cannot infringe on my rights. What is right to you may not be right to me. What you see as morality may not be to me. It is about the conscience. It is the right of the APRC that for them, they have to use their conscience, whether they want to celebrate because of many people have been mourning, many people have been missing, many people have been killed, many people have been exiled, right? It is up to them to decide whether to celebrate or not. But government doesn't have the right to intervene to say they don't have the right to celebrate. They can choose whatever they want. It is their right to celebrate. They can celebrate shaitan for whatever. They can celebrate the jinns coming down from heaven or wherever they want. We need to know, we need to have civic education programs that would educate the people. You need to know where your rights stop and where your rights, whether your rights are being infringed upon. Everybody that has been speaking, trying to condemn this or bury the APRC, has been emotionally disturbed. And it is your right, because guess what? The victims have suffered a lot. But this is not just about victims. This is about protecting the rights. Tomorrow, another person can come and say, I want to celebrate this. And then the government, no, you don't have the right to celebrate. One can have a funeral next door, and then the guy says, oh, well, because your partner has a funeral, so you shouldn't celebrate your birthday, or you shouldn't celebrate your grandfather, or whatever. Since when did the government have the right to come and tell certain people you cannot celebrate this or you cannot celebrate that? It's a celebration for God's sake. And the Constitution protects their rights to celebrate and peacefully assemble. That was the date they decided to choose, and they chose July 22nd. For whatever reason, for 22 years, people have been celebrating this. Guess what, folks? The very same people who are hypocrisy, who are engaged in hypocrisy, are here. They were the very ones dancing during those 22 years while they were serving in the cabinet, dancing to the 22nd July movement, dancing after April 10, 2000. You can name all of them. All hypocrites sitting out there. They didn't know that 14 students got killed. They didn't know that Korosise died or they got killed. They killed him. They didn't know Deda Herrera got killed. But yet they took positions. And not only that, they were dancing in public, celebrating July 22nd. And folks, this new government has already celebrated dictatorship by associating themselves with undemocratic people, associating themselves with dictators in Congo-Brazzaville. The president is yet to tell the Gambian people why he took taxpayers' money to go and visit a dictator who had nothing whatsoever to do with the former president leaving the Gambia, right? There was a different, there were Sterling Johnson, there was head of state Buhari, there was Mahama, there was Koroma. There were all these people involved, yet he skipped all of them and went to Congo-Brazzaville. Did they check the record of that head of state? And another thing, how many coup d'etats have happened when the former head of state Yahya Jammeh was in power? How many coup d'etats? Guess what? Were they celebrating, jubilating inside their rooms? No, they were all over social media celebrating that the military should go and take him out. Whether you like the man, whether he's a dictator or not, it was illegal. So you guys have been celebrating illegality, criminality, and rewarding criminals. You have them right under your nose. You have reinstated these criminals back into the army who tried to overthrow our government. And then you want to sit down here and tell us you want to deny citizens their rights to go and celebrate whatever reason that has nothing to do with government. So Gambia, we need to wake up, we need to wise up, we need to know where the limitations are. Democracy is not about morality. Democracy, it's about protecting rights. Okay? So morality, no, we don't want no moral police here. Right? This is all about rights. If I was an APRC member, I would sue this government because the 1997 Constitution protects the rights of APRC to celebrate whatever event they want. They can call it whatever. It is their right to peacefully assemble as long as they are peacefully assembling. It is the rights of other groups to go and protest, counter-protest, or make whatever celebration they want to celebrate for heaven's sake. You don't have to believe in what I believe in. God, the one God that created us, said, Kul ya ayyuhal kafirun. You will not believe in what you believe in, nor would I believe in what you believe in. To yours is your way and to mine. So where does the government see the need that they have to? And then they talk about national security. You've already endangered national security by engaging in such a witch hunt, by not respecting the engagements and agreements you already made with credible leaders. If that former head of state did not leave that Gambia that day, if the ECOWAS leaders did not intervene to negotiate, there would have been bloodshed. And today we will not even have the guts to sit down here and say, oh, whether this person should celebrate or not. Because it is their right. It is their right, for God's sakes. Let us differentiate the two. Yes, too many things have happened right there on the Gambia. That's why we're calling for reconciliation. That's why many people were protesting. But you need to know where the limitations are. And for those you thought they were educated, they know about democracy, they're worse. They're here parading day. Today they want to support. Tomorrow they want to feel like, oh, they're appeasing them. Then the other day they act like, oh, they're against this and that. Hypocrites. They have celebrated illegality. They were supporting coup d'etats right under our noses, celebrating. and then you want to deny others. You guys are afraid, and you need to admit it. You are afraid of APRC coming back into power. You are afraid of APRC celebrating whatever achievements, even that GRTS that you sit down on today. You are afraid that the airport or the agriculture, whatever they have done in that country, even if you don't measure it as success, there's a young man who is a Jola who probably went to Taiwan or somewhere and got some education and is now today helping his family. Today you cannot tell that person that he cannot celebrate something. You cannot tell somebody else that he cannot celebrate when he was being marginalized as a maid or something else, yet today to become a director of a company or somebody. You cannot say that. Folks, let us be fair. Yes, we need to be fair to the victims because a lot has happened, and that is why the Truth and Reconciliation Commission is highly important, highly imperative so that we can move on as a nation. Justice will serve. Truth and reconciliation is a form of transitional justice. And yes, those perpetrators and those who committed heinous crimes need to come and be accounted for whatever they've done. But that accountability comes with the responsibility of everyone being involved, and then being sorrowful, admitting to their wrongs, and see whether the people would actually forgive them, the victims. It is up to them. But for the national interest, it supersedes what we want as individuals. It supersedes that. So if this is our national security and national interest, guess what? It was 19,000 votes that you lost by. You didn't have a majority in the Gambia. You combine APRC and GDC and you get the results. Folks, we need to be taking it easy. We need to unite the country. We need to make sure that there's a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We need to be credible, agree, have integrity, dignity, and also stand by our agreements. We have already started seeing the faltering of agreements already. Right? There's no conviction out there. You've already been surrounded by those who were engaged in illegality. You have celebrated criminals, and yet you want to tell us that these people don't have the right to celebrate? They have the right to celebrate. And folks, again, if you guys feel the need to sue the government, go for it. It is your right. You are protected. Just like Honorable Usainu Dabo went out there and is suing this government, and he's sitting right there in cabinet. He's suing them because of this Public Order Act. Said it's unconstitutional. If they are sitting there saying that this is unconstitutional, and you guys, your rights are protected under the Constitution, what do you expect? If they've celebrated illegality by reinstating criminals into the army who try to overthrow a government for whatever reason, there's nothing that justifies illegality. You never reward criminal behavior. And this July 22nd movement, nobody is asking this government to sponsor any celebration whatsoever. It is not the... Before, guess what? They were taking taxpayers' money, taking the buses and doing whatever they want to celebrate. But God forbid, I don't have that proof. But it's an assumption that they must have used state resources to celebrate July 22nd. It is an assumption, not evidence. But guess what? Today, nobody's asking this government to spend $1 or one dime. Nobody's asking this government to go. But guess what? It is the right of the government to even have police cover them, protect them, to make sure that their rights are being exercised. They will celebrate whatever they want to celebrate. Whether it is the parliament, whether it's the ports, whether it's that Kanilai ferry, or whatever they want to celebrate. University of the Gambia, it is up to them. Period. We need to know where the line stops. This is not about emotions. Wow, yes, degala. Nitki nak mo wara am hell. Nitki mo wara am hell ne he mande li xew na fi duma celebrate. Why should nitki am na lu mbuga celebrate? Ñun ñoy kan? Who are we to stop people from going to celebrate what they want to celebrate? Do we actually even believe in democracy? If you guys let this slip, you have already started seeing dictatorship crawl in Gambia. That dictatorship doesn't have to be a face that frowns and looks angry and points fingers on TV, trying to say we would not this or that law would consume you. Dictatorship is not that. You can be as calm, collected, but yet still doing some dangerous, dirty things. You have already seen journalists being violated. You have already seen we don't have a vice president for 6 months. You have already seen an elected president go and visit a dictator saying he wants to seek his advice. You have already seen those who committed treason by trying to overthrow a government reinstated in that army. You have seen others being given positions. And then you want to tell me autocracy. You guys have already celebrated autocracy. You guys have already celebrated all that is illegal. And yet, the biggest of all insults, we still don't have a vice president, because guess what? You have put that position and said that out of 1.8 million people, you will suspend all the Gambians' rights, and one person deserves that position, to oversee that position. What a greatest insult. Yan Gambian yi, li ngeen war a faytu leen ko. Fii nag, fekk ñu ngee dunda, bakken bii, yàlla mu ñu amee, dinañ wax. Ku ñu bëgg a jàppee dof, jàppee ñu dof. Ku ñu bëgg a jàppee, whether dañoo xam-xam lu te xamuñ, fine, that is your business. Man, I know I will always stand up to defend the truth and the rights of others. I have done it for UDP, I have done it for DOI, I have done it for GDC, and when they took the minority leadership at Parliament for GDC, I will do it for APRC to respect their rights to celebrate whatever they have to celebrate. I don't have to celebrate. So, mbokay, fofu la buga record bi mu go on, ngeen bala ma aha, wax bi bari na. But again, I have to put this out there. It is their rights. You have been protected by the Constitution. Ñu ngi jégalu. But again, gis ngeen fi ñu nga xamne jox nañ leen fi ay award, ay substance, fekk saga nañ nit be toy xet ne substance. Waaye again, nit ki lo wara am dang ko am. So ku nekk dañ leen na ñaanal rek Yàlla dimbale leen. Ñu lepp lo wara am ngeen am ko. But again, wax yu ñaaw yi ngeen wax yu jëf yu bon yu tilim yi ngeen def di jéema daaneel nguur ba pare tey ngeen toog ne waaw ñi waru ñoo def illegal bi ngeen toogee di wax ne taal leen soldat yi def leen naka su du noonu. You guys were engaged in criminal behavior, and if justice was to be served, you guys would be actually accomplice to whatever was happening in Gambia. So foofu lay am, ngeen baal ma aha ku ma mun a baalal aha baala ma aha ku ma mun nag nay noonu waaw. Democracy dafa laajte ku nekk nga respect right nga xam fan la sa right am. I stand today to defend the rights of APRC to celebrate whatever achievements they want to celebrate. This is not about feelings. This is not about morality. This is about rights. And you guys, with all honesty, some of you folks need to, by now we should have had civic education in every classroom. You guys need to go and read. And for you so-called lawyers, you need to go and read too. Because you're jalgati every day. Assalamu alaikum.